Oh yeah, Hangouts are muted.
Your access level has recently increased. Excellent.
Incoming message.
Good evening and welcome to Behind the Scanner. Your hosts for tonight are Andrew Krug from Virginia and Daphne D. from Washington, D.C. Our special guests tonight are Fevenis Silverwind and Pedro Luiz de Castro. The Q&A tool is enabled for tonight's broadcast. Submit your questions throughout the show and we'll ask as many as time allows. If you know someone who would make a great guest, submit their information to us at bit.ly/BTS_guest. Finally, you can watch past episodes and subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/behindthescanner. And now, your hosts of Behind the Scanner.
Good evening, agents. Jumping the gun a little bit there. Good evening, agents. Welcome to episode 24 of Behind the Scanner. I'm Kelly Colton from Chicago, filling in for Jorge Pedrero. Our first guest tonight is joining us from Lisbon, Portugal. Welcome, Agent Reaper from Hell.
Hey.
Hey, welcome, man. What time is it there?
It's 2 a.m.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for staying up with us, I guess, or getting up with us. We really appreciate it.
Or would
Don't
you
worry.
normally be up at this time?
I'd probably be up at this time anyway, so.
You probably would be outside capturing and hacking portals, though, I bet, instead of
Yeah,
talking to us.
most likely. That or planning some operation or so.
Well, one of the cool things about the show that I selfishly love is that I get to meet people I've never met before. You met Daphne, I think, when she was visiting Portugal. But I got to admit, I don't really know anything about you. Well, I take that back. I know about you, but not like on the personal level. So for everybody that's watching, can you tell us a little bit about what it is you do for a living, where you're from, all that sort of good stuff?
Yeah, so I'm Pedro, agent name Reaper from Hell. I've been playing since November 2012. Currently, I'm studying computer science, IT in general, and and that's about it.
Well, okay, you also speak 4 languages, so bienvenido, willkommen, bienvenido, and welcome to the show. Well, it's really great to, one thing that I was struck when we did meet was how excellent of English you spoke. Do you simply love language, or did you decide to learn in order to travel and play Ingress, or what?
Actually, I'm not really a language person. My mother's Mexican, so I got Spanish from her. My father's Portuguese, I got Portuguese from him. Then English and German just came from school. The English I also got from movies, cartoons, same as German. When I was in school, I'd watch a lot of German TV and German cartoons, so yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is traveling to different places to play Ingress. And you are also a big traveler, and you've done some really cool motorcycle trips. One of the things that I saw was your trip to Barcelona. What is it about traveling by motorcycle that you like?
Well, it all started when I was a kid. my father would take me to school on his motorcycle. So while I was like in first grade, I was like the only kid with a helmet on his coat hanger thing.
That's awesome.
So everybody had his jacket, and then my coat hanger just like a jacket and a helmet on top of it. Then, as years went by, on my 16th birthday, I got my first motorcycle. Started riding, and I guess I got into it just like my father did. And now I changed the motorcycle. I got a bigger one, powerful one, and this year I decided to take a trip, and we ended up going to Barcelona. Well, I ended up going to Barcelona and meet up with other Ingress players there.
So what kind of motorcycle do you have?
It's a Honda CB500.
Okay, all right. I've got
That gets
old
you
one,
gas mileage?
but it still gets me there, yeah.
Very nice. Pretty comfortable too.
Yeah, well, it is. It isn't when you are like 3 hours on it in a row. So.
I can imagine. That's you know what? That actually, we'll get to that story later. But you also have a travel companion that seems to travel with you a lot. So
Yeah,
I gotta ask, what's with the Despicable Me minion?
well, I'll show it to you. I got it over here. So this guy right here, light's a bit strong. He's Zemanelli. It's our little mascot. It's a funny thing because a few months back there was this resistance player that would try to wind us up in comms whenever we went to destroy his backyard, replying that we were simply being minions because someone else sent us there. So instead of getting wound up, we just went with it, and now we adopted the minion thing, and so we ended up getting a mascot, and that's it. He comes on operations with us and fields all over Portugal. So.
All right, so when we did get the chance to meet in real life, I will have to confess to you, it was, I was a bit nervous when you had offered to meet me at the airport. Your game name states it as a little bit strong. Now, you're actually a very nice, really pleasant, jovial person, and I loved hanging out. So why on earth did you select Reaper from Hell as your agent name?
I don't know. It's an old thing. Since my teenage years, I went with a nickname or for internet gamer thing for Reaper, but here for Ingress, Niantic decided to reserve the name, and nobody got the name. That or someone actually started an account and hasn't played since. So the name is on hold, and I had to choose another one. So that's the one I usually go for, Reaper from Hell. I don't know.
So, Pedro, we like to, hear about different people's experiences, and one of the things that we talked about was how you'd like to travel. I'm curious, how many Ingress-related events have you been to, and what would you say was your favorite one?
So up until now, I've been to 13 Magnus in Lisbon. That was an official anomaly. We won by a landslide because the resistance didn't show up, sadly. But after that, I didn't attend any other anomalies. I did attend Amsterdam in January. That was like very awesome. I got to put faces to names for the agents that we've been coordinating for a while now. And after that, we had a Porto meeting for Enlightened agents a few months back, and lastly this summer in Barcelona we had a Burgress event there. That's why I went with all the way to Barcelona on my motorcycle.
Burgress event. You'll have to enlighten me. I've seen the patches, but I don't know exactly what that is.
The Burgress event is just simply meeting up and playing Ingress in a place and a city, and trying out all the burgers and the good ones.
So where is the best burger that you've had?
I'll have to agree with Mark because he posted on Kelly's post. The Bacoa in Barcelona was very awesome.
Excellent. Sounds like somebody's trying to get in and get a burger right now. Wow, what is that noise? Anyway, just a reminder for folks, we've got the Q&A app enabled, so if you are watching the show, you can click the Q&A up in the upper right-hand corner and submit a question for any of our guests. But right now we're talking to Pedro, and we will ask your question live on the air. Daphne, your mic is muted.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
Right. All right. If you could think of something that your fellow Enlightened have done, game-related or not, that has impressed you, what would it be?
So probably Ingress related would be a recent op we did like about a month ago, fielding all over the country, Portugal. So we literally covered only Portugal. Like all the anchors were inside of Portugal, including the islands and everything. So it was a very impressive feat. It took a lot of agents, took a lot of planning, and it was awesome. It was a really good operation.
Anything outside the game? You have some very interesting teammates that I really had the pleasure to meet. So I know a lot of them had some fascinating backgrounds. So anything interesting to share with them?
As far as team outside of the game, it's just the friendships I've done. I've met done a lot of new friends. The usual. I've never would have met them if it weren't for Ingress. We just hang out and are able to get like coffee in the afternoon and just talk about random stuff, not always Ingress related, and it's pretty fun.
Cool. So, Pedro, back in March, I understand of this year, you destroyed the Guardian in the middle of a golf resort. Can you tell us about what are some of the other crazy missions that you've gone on?
Well, yeah, the golf resort one was a very good one. We got the request from Germany because this resistance player had his guardian planted there, so I had to go there and go inside. Other than that, I've always almost just like jumped onto my bike and went wherever I was needed. So every time somebody was telling me, I think that one's a guardian, I just jump on my bike and I'll go there. And even if it's like 300 kilometers away or so, I might go there and destroy the portal.
So the resistance get really worried when you're
yeah, exactly. It could actually the last time or one of the last times I destroyed a guardian, or I think it was a guardian. It rained so heavily. I really think someone like cursed me for everything they had, and so it was really unpleasant the ride back.
And has anyone retaliated and gotten you back?
Yes, but they were too late. I got my Onyx Guardian badge, so.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
So of all the many things that you have accomplished in the game, what would you say you're the most proud of?
Of everything I've accomplished, I'd say right now organizing the 13 Magnus anomaly here in Lisbon. It took a lot of organizing, a lot of planning, talking to other enlightened agents from across the globe who were in anomalies, who knew what to expect, what to be done, divided everybody into teams, gear up and deploy the clusters, everything. And yeah, I think that's definitely the most proud thing I'm about the game that I've done.
Speaking of 13 Magnus and that anomaly specifically, when planning an anomaly, there's such a large event. I mean, you've got hundreds of people coming from all over the place, and you got to get your teams down, and you go to this port and all that. For you, what was the most challenging aspect of planning that particular anomaly?
Planning that particular anomaly, it was very stressful because I knew if the resistance, they ended up not showing up, but I knew they put up a fierce fight if they had shown up. Unfortunately, they didn't, and as soon as I understood that they were incoming, we just made a really big L8 farm around Lisbon. So.
So how many people did you guys have coming from the Enlightened side that showed up?
It wasn't that much because it was somewhat of in the beginning and right before the closed beta ended. So we had about 30 people or so coming to Lisbon.
Did you ever find out why nobody from the Resistance showed up?
I don't know. I think the resistance at the time, they were very unorganized and they ended up not caring about it. And everybody else from outside of Lisbon that was ready to come, when they understood that they would get no support from the local resistance, they said, then why should we go? If we don't know the city, we don't know the portals, we'll just make a fool of ourselves. So I think they ended up not coming for that.
It was the early days of Ingress, so I can.
Yeah, it was in November of 2000. It was a year ago.
Yeah. And November in Portugal, what's the weather like there? Was it cold at all, or?
It's not really that cold, but it's raining a lot right now.
Well, are you ready to take some viewer questions? See what people have to ask you?
Shoot.
All right. So our first one is, we always get this. Why did you choose your faction?
Funny, I think I'm one of the few, because I'm such an old player, I actually chose Enlightened for what they represent. So I read both the Resistance and the Enlightened, and I said, okay, I'll agree with what the Enlightened have to say. So I think that the Shapers were trying to bring technology and everything to the human world, and I thought that was good. So I decided to join the Enlightened.
I have to say, I'm impressed. That's the second time tonight. First was kind of off camera as we were starting up the show that you said you actually took the time to read something and make an informed decision. So
yeah,
you definitely get the RTFM award for that. All right. The second question we've got is, do you guys have many cross-faction events, I guess, in Lisbon?
Not that many. I wish we could have more. Every now and then a farm gets smashed and we're in the neighborhood, so we end up meeting with each other. But like as far as really cross-faction events go, there are very few. There was one a few months back. I didn't participate though, but we're mending the connections and we're trying to be more cross-faction here in Lisbon at least.
That's always admirable. I mean, you want to have a healthy, competitive relationship with the folks that you're fighting on the other end, right? So, all right. Well, we touched on the fact that you travel a lot, and sometimes by bike, and other times by air, and maybe train, I guess. But where have you played Ingress? Where are all the countries and places you've been?
So I've played all around Portugal. I've been to Spain for the Burgess events, Holland for Amsterdam, and London when I visit my sister. So
obviously Lisbon is probably your favorite place to play. We'll let you off the hook with that, but.
Yes, because it's nearest. Although if I could, I'd probably play all over.
Have you let's see, you said you went to Germany?
No, not Germany. Holland, in Amsterdam.
Holland. I'm sorry. And what was that like compared to playing in Lisbon?
It was awesome. It was awesome because the many players that gathered there just to play Ingress. I got to meet Matilde. I got to meet Jorge. I got to meet Albert and many others from other countries, and it was really awesome. It was a town I never visited, Amsterdam, so I got to know the city, and I got to play Ingress for uniques and captures.
Well, speaking of uniques and captures, I think Daphne may have submitted this last question, but how many unique portal visits do you have?
Of course, that's
Portal visits. Let me check. But I think I'm halfway to my platinum badge. I know I have it in gold. Actually, I'm working for the unique captures. I'm closest to the unique captures. So explored, I have like 5,200.
Wow.
And for the pioneer, I have 3,000.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Wow.
Come visit. We'll help you out here.
I'm really working on this one, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Go ahead.
when I was looking at the mission creator map, that it lists like 7,000 portals in the DC area, I believe. Something along those
Good.
lines.
So we actually had a visitor come from Russia. For those who know Toxid.
Yeah,
and
I know.
actually got 10. He got basically the equivalent of platinum in 12 days here on the East Coast.
Ooh, impressive.
Not the beast, I will tell you that, but it's possible. So come.
Yeah, I definitely have to go to the U.S.
Right. Well, we're kind of doing a new thing now. We're giving our guests at the end of their segment 60 seconds to get anything off their chest that they want to talk to the Ingress world. It's yours. You can say anything you want. So go ahead. Are you ready? Anything. I won't stop you. I won't censor you. I promise.
Good. Well, just everybody out there, have fun, enjoy the game, play it safe. Don't spoof, don't multi-accounts, don't nothing. Keep it fun, keep it enjoyable, and visit a lot of places, talk to players, and you'll see you'll have a good time. Just plain be open that the other faction isn't necessarily your enemy. I mean, behind the scanner, if you allow it, there's a person there. So don't be rude and always stay cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. It was great to see you again.
No problem.
Catch up.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was definitely great to meet you, man. Excellent. Thank you for staying up late.
Nice to meet you guys too.
Cool. Well, our next guest, he's no stranger to the Ingress world or our show. We liked him so much on Behind the Scanner that we decided to invite him back. He's a good friend of mine. Please welcome Fevenis Silverwind. Hi, Fev.
What's up, Fev?
Woohoo, shout out.
Is he there? You're muted.
That kind of nice. It's
live. It wouldn't be a show if at least one thing didn't technically go wrong.
We see you.
Worse things have happened than muted mics. We can deal okay
Absolutely.
with muted mics.
He's probably researching the end game with the latest puzzle and trying to solve that. Yeah, there we go. We caught him red-handed. Our cameraman is telling us he cannot unmute you.
Because he's not muted.
No.
Oh, no.
It's the curse of Brian Genesi. All right. Well, how about this? Let's talk amongst ourselves. What's he doing now? His camera went black. Why don't you try to disconnect and reconnect, and we'll sit here and chat for like the next 60 seconds amongst ourselves. Actually, you know what? Hey, Jesse, can you bring back Pedro? Because I think Daphne had a couple of questions about traveling and unique portal visits and all that.
Yeah, always. Well, it's just about the Portuguese. One thing that I was disappointed about because I did come in very late last night. I did try that special sandwich. Oh gosh, something Cristo.
Yeah, the tosta mista.
That's right. Yeah. So, what are some typical like when you go out with your friends? I mean, you guys seem to have
Can you
sort
guys
of
hear me?
a ritual. Oh, wait.
Whoa.
Oh, we have Fev.
Oh,
You have to wait now, Fev. I'm sorry, you missed your opportunity.
that's okay. That's okay. I'll just drink some.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal your spotlight.
All good, man.
What is it? We usually go for also burgers here. There's a few burger joints here on our level 8 farm, so we end up always also eating burgers or steak.
Next time I'm going to hold you to taking me over there.
It's a
Yeah, I
deal.
gotta say, if you do come to the DC area, for some reason we're like this weird burger capital of the United States, where we have Five Guys and Elevation Burger and a whole bunch of other places here. So, we'll definitely hook you up with a couple of burgers if you come here. You can count
Good.
on that.
I already ordered my patch from Albert, so
Nice.
I gotta stay true to it.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for chatting with us again.
I said hanging out.
Fevenis Silverwind. How's it going, my man?
Hey. How's it going?
Hear ya. Excellent.
Yeah, I don't know what was up there.
It's all
I
good.
thought I was embarrassing him with my intro.
Oh.
It might be because you're representing your peeps right now. You're the only representative at the moment.
I know. What's up with that? You guys trying to convert me again or something?
You're always trying to convert you. Love to have it.
Are you sure it wasn't the beer?
It could be. I'm not completely sure. Good beer though. Good amber.
Well, welcome back to the show, man. I think you were last here with us around like episode 12, so I guess this being 24, that means we have to invite you back for episode 36.
Hey, you know I'm down.
We'll make
Most
it interesting.
definitely.
We'll call it the Feviversary, I guess, maybe. How's that?
Oh my god!
I am so down for that. Oh man.
The last time I saw you, I think, was in Portland, Oregon, when I was out there for the ARG FestoCon. So it was a fun time. And after that, we went and walked around. What was that outdoor marketplace? I forget the name of it.
It was the Saturday Market, the Portland Saturday Market.
Saturday Market. And you were going to somehow turn a samurai sword or katana blade that you bought into a signal booster. So I'm curious how that would go for you.
Well, I didn't literally turn it into a signal booster, but let me back up here a second. I have a equipment booster setup I've been working on. I don't know if this is a good picture of it or not, but
Yeah.
Whoa!
I needed a handle for something, and that samurai sword we happened to come across at the Saturday Market just so happened to be a good candidate for Project Katana.
That's awesome. That is ingenious and great.
And I mean, as you guess, yes, that is indeed an antenna on the end of a katana sword. I can't tell you the details of the op, considering present company here, but regardless, a cool Ingress toy to show off nonetheless.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so besides tinkering with stainless steel katanas, you run Fev games and manage Decode Ingress, and have now diversified with Decode Endgame.
Definitely.
Yeah, so for those that might not know what those are, can you give them a thumbnail?
Sure, definitely. So I don't think many people are a stranger to the Decode Ingress. Me and Dustin Downs managed the site together, kind of to give the Enlightened Resistance perspectives of both sides. Aside from that, I do a lot of YouTube with Fev games. Definitely a lot surrounding Ingress and things Ingress related. And I'm also, I'd say probably in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be having a blog that's kind of a mirror to the Fev games YouTube. which Dustin is also going to help me manage. So expect some of that in the next 2 weeks or month. So that'll be good to look forward to. Now, as far as Decode Endgame goes, I mean, as everyone also knows or may not know, there's this thing called Endgame, and Niantic is taking a big part of it. And being lovers of Niantic, us at Decode Ingress decided to say, hey, let's make another branch. Not everyone's going to be interested in both. You know, we already get comments on Decode Ingress that say, hey, stop talking about Endgame. I want nothing to do with Endgame. Stop spamming my my feed. I'm like, oh, okay. So Decode Endgame was spawned, and pretty much that will work in the same capacity as Decode Ingress in the sense that the community itself, a lot of puzzles, like I know Kelly's been addicted to these puzzles lately, but in the communities, people present puzzles and they'll either present the solutions to said puzzles in a learning type fashion or kind of go through the process. So people who are a little shy about it or don't know how to get their feet wet, they can visit this community to be like, oh, this was the solution to the Stella email. I get it. Okay, move on to the next. Aside from that, we are going to have a blog type website set up where we'll release articles about the game, the book, things that pretty much everything all Endgame related. I know that the Endgame book and its journey is a separate adventure from Niantic and its game and the other arc that's spawned, but I know that's more detail than you want right now. But in a nutshell, I mean those are those communities.
Sounds like you got your hands full.
Oh yeah, I'm always busy. Too much.
So, are you? The last time we talked, we learned that you actually play Smash Brothers professionally and competitively. So, your hands so full of doing all these amazing projects. Have you had a chance to get the new Smash Brothers yet?
Oh man, most definitely yes. I kind of had some instant regrets the day it had came out. They made the download available, and being an old school gamer, this is kind of weird for me. I really love buying cartridges to put in my consoles and whatnot. I like my cartridges and my discs, and I know we're like in the digital age. And I took my first step, and I got my first digital game on my DS, and that was Smash Bros. Because I could just sit in my couch and download it at midnight, and I was really happy about that. But huge regrets for not taking work off the next day. I was jonesing so hard all day long. All I wanted to do was play Smash Brothers, and yeah, that was a long work day. But I used to play pretty competitively back when Brawl came out, and this is the fourth iteration of Smash Brothers to come out. And I went to a tournament on Saturday, and though there weren't enough people on the 3DS to do a tournament, we ended up doing a Project M tournament, which is like a player-patched version of Brawl, kind of to speed it up a little bit and make it more competitive, because a lot of people in the competitive community, if you follow Smash Brothers at all, they're all about Melee, and so they pretty much patched up Brawl and called it Project M to kind of get it closer to that play style. So yeah, I went to a tournament for that on Saturday and got third place. And that was a lot of fun. But yeah, definitely Smash Brothers might eat into my Ingress Niantic in-game time, but I'll make time for all of them. I love them all.
And I was going to ask if you did have a day job, but wow, how you're balancing all that. I mean, good on you.
I know. My girlfriend gets mad at me a lot, but I make time for her too. Surprisingly enough.
Awesome. All right, so I mean, you're also doing something pretty cool later on this month, combining charity and Ingress. Can you describe what it is you're doing and how you got the idea?
Sure, most definitely. So there is a website out there called Extra Life, and they run pretty much a 24-hour gaming period where gamers in various communities, what they typically do is they'll live stream themselves playing a video game for 24 hours, and they do this in effort to help children. And it's not just one hospital. The way they roll it is when you sign up to be a contributor, it chooses a local hospital to use. So, for instance, the campaign I'm running is going to help a children's hospital here in Oregon. And since I can't live stream Ingress as you would a computer game, because I don't have an Ethernet connection, and I imagine, I'm not going to say it's not possible, but I can imagine streaming Ingress, I'd probably reach my data limit in the first hour or two. Just guessing there, I'm not sure, but so I'm going to be doing 24 hours of Ingress, like I said, to raise money for a local children's hospital in Oregon. And what some people do in these Extra Life campaigns is they'll do crazy things like, hey, you know, if I can reach my goal of X amount of money, I'll shave my head, or, you know, I'll shave my head and have a mohawk, or I'll dye my hair pink. And, well, being an old man these days, I can't exactly do that kind of stuff and get away with it at work. So the type of incentive that I've given is for those who went to Tacoma Helios, we handed out a bunch of Decode Ingress patches, which we've only made one time. And I happen to have 50 left of those. And the first 50 people who donate are probably going to get it. I said that it would be a drawing, just in case that thing turned into a madhouse and I got a million donations. Plan to do a drawing for 50 people, but it's pretty low-key right now. I think about 12 people have donated, about halfway to my goal of $500. I'm at $270 now. And big thank you to anyone watching this who contributed already. You guys are awesome. Kelly contributed. Thank you a whole much. You know, it's amazing. I know I'm ranting on this, but it's amazing how they can take gamers out there and turn all that power and that energy and to, you know, a fundraising effort for kids. It's crazy. And I usually don't throw out a whole lot of money myself as far as donations, but I have a weak spot for kids, and so this was just right up my alley.
So cool. So for those of us who don't know and would like to donate, how can we go about doing so?
Well, the link is ugly, but how about I pass it on to you guys, and you can put it in the YouTube description for afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll put it in the YouTube description, and for anybody that wants to open another tab right now, I believe I reshared it yesterday, so if you go to my profile, you should see it as one of the top
Yeah, that's
stories.
right. That's right. Thank you for sharing that.
Although I then forgot to follow up and donate, so I will be doing that after the show.
Andrew just doesn't like kids. Something I heard on the internet.
Hey, having two of my own, yeah, there's times.
Understandable.
All right, so let's talk about something loosely Ingress related as well. The book Endgame, The Calling, was just released. Can you summarize more summaries?
That's all good.
What is the plot of Endgame?
So more or less, and I'll do my best to do this without spoiling anything, is 1,000 years ago there were 12 ancient civilizations chosen to represent, you know, Endgame in 1,000 years, and pretty much what Endgame the Calling is this is the calling of all those bloodlines to come and play Endgame. You know, something all of their civilizations, like I said, have been chosen for, been preparing for 1,000 years. And so Endgame is about these 12 bloodlines. They're all teenagers who are coming together for the calling, and pretty much they are representing their bloodlines and which bloodline will survive the calling or Endgame and, you know, survive the disaster. And hope I didn't spoil anything there. I was trying to skirt around the outer limits of it, but I think that's a good, broad explanation.
All right.
That is a really good explanation. And, you know, as you mentioned before, we've both been, you know, kind of starting to play the game. There's a couple of different aspects to the game as it stands. So there's the book Treasure Hunt that everyone knows about with the gold. There's also an ARG, the Ancient Truths. And soon there will be, similar to Ingress, a location-based mobile game. Have you heard anything about the mobile game? You know, what kind of details can you share with us?
So I probably know as much as all you guys. I've caught snippets of it here and there from John Hankey speaking at the Dice conference. They've posted a few screenshots here and there. I think the ones that Decode Endgame shared were not supposed to be released yet. I think someone messed up because they took those down afterwards, but we still reshared them and they're out there. So if you guys want to see them, like I said, Decode Endgame. But it is, like you said, going to be a location-based game, and the way I understood things, like I said, from John Hankey, he explained not only at DICE, but at the Comic-Con event where they, I guess, presented in-game first to a public audience. They describe it more or less, you're location-based, but you're not out there capturing portals. They make it sound like you represent one of these 12 bloodlines, and you battle other players. And I guess the difference between that and Ingress is if I want to attack you, I can go and hunt your portals down and try to make your day miserable that way. But in this, the way I understand it is if you and I are walking down the street, I can be like, nope, Daphne, you and me, we're throwing down right now. We just have a battle right there. Like I said, the way I understand it, my very, very light knowledge of it. The other thing I gathered from it is aside from seeing other players location-based wise, objectives in the game might take you to places where you can obtain different weapons. I think one of their examples was like a gun or a cannon. Like say you go to a museum and there might be this historic gun or cannon there, or whatever their example was. And going to this museum, I might obtain this into my inventory. So maybe I started with this little pistol, and now I've gone to this famous museum. I got a cannon, and we'll see how our battle goes next time. Now, like I said, I could be completely off base. They're being very, very secretive about this one. Every person I've tried poking about this I've been met with NDA. I'm just like, hey, can you tell me a little bit about Endgame? Just a tiny bit, and they're just like NDA. I'm just like, okay, and I can appreciate that. I understand it because the way they're unveiling Endgame, they're kind of releasing it as a real event. Especially with the live event that happened. There's been some screenshots floating about. I know they're going to throw a full-on video up, but I mean, outside the event, they actually had a staged meteor crash in New York City, and there was people in radioactive jumpsuits checking it out. It looked like there was mock-up FBI members there. So I imagine that, especially with this new ARG that, like I said, Kelly's been very addicted to, has been released. I think they're going to take that ARG and they're going to lead it up into a release of Endgame on the mobile device in some kind of storyline fashion. So we'll see what happens there, but that's basically all I know as far as the mobile app goes. It's very in the dark. I just don't know yet.
There was I think it was a quote in one of the recent articles. I don't know if it was The Verge or somebody else that said has a quote from John Hankey saying that it would be released, I guess, early next year. So first quarter of 2015, I guess, is what the rumor is.
The funny thing about that, and I don't know if I was given misinformation because I like to poke around a lot. I won't name the person, but someone from Niantic told me that we should see Endgame release, and I'm talking the mobile app, sometime in November. And like I said, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. I had originally heard that it was going to release here in October, and that might have been confused with the fact that might be the beta release, which is also kind of secret, but they've announced it. The first 500 people going to that New York live event were promised beta invites. And if I want to keep speculating, I could say that maybe that beta has already initiated or is going to initiate this month. And then maybe us as other players will see it next month. But all total speculation based on very loose things I've been told that might have just been misdirection in the first place. But we'll see. I really hope they don't wait that late because I don't think the patience of the Ingress community will go on till 2015. Everyone's amped for endgame right now, and if they wait too long, it's just going to dissipate, and no one will want to play it.
Well, yeah, I do. I think I did hear that they are releasing the beta soon because was it Matilda? Didn't somebody say that not only in New York but the Germany event you would get access or be invited to the beta if you attended that? So something's happening very, very soon. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, we can only hope.
Yeah. Well, so with Nicola, yes, thank you. What will Decode? Yeah, that's so good. What will Decode Endgame's role in all things Endgame be? I guess because I noticed you're linked from their official page. So are you guys having some sort of official role or not or?
Sure. So Decode. I have to get this straight. So Decode Ingress, even though we have a Decode Endgame community, Decode Ingress was contracted through Endgame to help promote the book release. And part of our role in that, it's mainly been Twitter-based. That was their interest. That was their target audience. They chose 12 people to represent these bloodlines, and they sent everyone packages. I don't know if any of you guys watch my YouTube or anything, but if you remember this damn little box, they sent all of us one of these boxes, and in it took us to a link custom for each person, and then Decode Ingress was chosen to represent the Mu bloodline, which represents one of the characters in the game, or the book, or whatever you want to call it. And aside from, like I said, the promotion, as I explained earlier, we're going to have our community, we're going to have our website similar to Decode Ingress. But the reason they wanted to use Decode Ingress is the name to, I guess, advertise Endgame through their contract is they wanted our known audience. They didn't want the Decode Endgame audience. I mean, if you look at both of our communities, the numbers between the two are just very, very different. So even though Decode Ingress has been plugging the heck out of Decode Endgame, after this month we plan to transition fully over to the Decode Endgame community from Decode Ingress. So people, if they want to solve the puzzles, if they want to follow new videos that come out, all that nature, follow Decode Endgame. If you want to participate, the community is very active. There's a thread somewhere on there to join the chat that we are actively participating in every day. I think my phone is exploding from it right now. Very, very exciting community. Hope that answered Nicholas's question, even though I think he knew the answer.
Some interesting Q&As that we have coming up. So.
Oh no.
So yeah, just as a reminder for those of you who do have a question for Fevenis, feel free to post it on the chat. All right, so we were talking a little bit earlier about communities and friends, and from the last show, the story came out about Gettysburg and how you wanted to get a picture with Andrew, and he just kind of like, oh yay, and just dissed you off. So in Portland, did you ever get that picture together, or did he just blow you off again?
You know, I'm pretty certain we got a picture together? Question mark? Regardless of, did we get a picture?
Yeah, we got a couple. There was the one in the restaurant. Remember that, all of us?
Oh yes, yes. I will say, regardless of picture or not, Andrew did buy me one or two drinks and treated me very well during his visit. It was a pleasant time overall. He got to walk. We actually got to walk around with Linda Besh and Ethan from Niantic, and we got to get some hint water and hide a dead drop, which I've done player-based ones, but I haven't got to participate in a Niantic official hiding of a dead drop. So that was kind of cool, and Andrew got to do that with us, and yeah, we hung out all day, mostly me, Andrew, Ethan, and Linda Besh, and one of my locals, Zero Lad, and we just had a really good time. And like I said, photo or not, he had a good time, or we had a good time, and he treated me very well. And yeah, like I said, it was great seeing.
Every time we get together, it's usually when I have had like no sleep and something gets discombobulated. And again, tonight, behind the scenes, there's a lot of stuff going on. So, in fact, the viewers don't even know this, but I disconnected for a few minutes because my computer just inexplicably crashed. So,
Oh, shit.
it's the curse of trying to have fun. So, anyway, let's move on.
All right. So, on a serious note, having gone to a lot more anomalies since we last saw you, how has your view of anomalies changed over time?
Sure. I've helped with some of the Helio stuff going on, more specifically up in Tacoma at the finale. And I wouldn't say my perspective has changed significantly, though I was thrown into a team lead role this time around, which I've done before in the past, but it's not usually my role. I love just being a ground pounder and just, letting off my bursters, deploying them rezos, whatever is needed of me. So this was, I've led at a satellite site before in Boise, but doing it at a primary is quite a bit different. Especially, I was one of the team leads for the volatiles, and so we had no really set area, where we needed to be, because as you guys know, volatiles aren't really known until you either find a dead drop or someone holds up a sign. And so leading a team like that was really interesting. I had a lot of fun in Tacoma. But yeah, I wouldn't say that my overall perspective has changed, but I would encourage people who've just gone, as quote unquote ground pounders, and maybe take a role in either the planning aspects of it or a leadership position on the ground, because I'll tell you, just playing as a grunt versus being in a planning or a leadership role it's completely different. And I will say that perspectives on Anomaly are very different from the two. Some people just show up and have a good time, and it's like, well, you had that good time because a bunch of us did all this backbreaking planning for a few months, and I don't think some people realize the perspectives or the realities behind the two. So I like either role, but I will say, oh man, after Anomaly is done, I'm ready to take a nap for like a week. Especially after being in a leadership role. That was crazy, but it was a good time overall. I love the Anomalies, and I think this has been the third finale that I've been able to attend, and the difference between a satellite site and a primary, especially a finale, are extremely different.
Yeah.
Extremely different.
So, Fed, you being a professional gamer, where do you think the future holds, for the future of gaming on mobile devices? Where do you think that will lead?
Well, I think mobile gaming is the future of the gaming market. I mean, you look at console sales and computer PC gaming sales every year, and they're either declining severely or you're getting stale content. It just rehashes of the same thing. I mean, anyone who games a lot, and like I said, I game a good amount. It's like, for instance, on Nintendo, even though I got Smash Brothers recently and I'm super excited for it, this is the fourth iteration of this. This is an idea that's been tried and tested, and they know to succeed on some level. Same with racing games, same with the Call of Duties. And the problem with that is you're pretty much playing the same sandbox every single time. You might change the elements. I might get a laser rifle, or I might get some modifications to my guns and whatnot, but it's the same rehashed ideas all the time, and that's the big problem with PC games and console games, aside from you just sitting around getting fat. But games like Ingress and upcoming Endgame, I mean, I know some people had tried it, but they're the first to really succeed. It's revolutionized, how we game and how we think about gaming. I never expected myself to be at 2 a.m. diehard about making these, fake blue fields around my neighborhood so I could peacefully sleep at night. There's no other game that has taken me outside and done that, and I think they're evolving a lot on the ideas. I actually And I get to do this later today. I'm pretty excited about this. I got one of those Google Cardboard augmented reality headsets. So I'm going to go assemble that after this, and I've already seen a few apps on there as far as just picture viewers and a few just tiny mini games, but I get to do some crazy augmented reality stuff with my mobile device, which hasn't really been a thing. I mean, there's the Oculus Rift that exists out there, but that's in the PC world, and Facebook owns it. So, but no, I think not only from, like I said, revolutionizing the gaming world, another thing mobile has an advantage over it is everyone, we've evolved into a society that every one of us has one of these in our pocket. And traditionally, back in the day, if you were a gamer, you were only a gamer if your mom or dad could afford a Nintendo. You weren't walking around with one of these. Like, if I had a kid, I'd give them one of these just because I want to know where my kid is. That's a safety concern to me. But I mean, the point being is everyone has one of these, and gaming is a huge deal on them. And you're seeing a lot more people shift and get addicted to games that they can always take with them in a more affordable, more common platform. And that's really starting to take away from gaming as we've known it. I mean, the 2010s or whatever you want to call them, it's been a big deal for mobile gaming, and I think the market is just going to snowball from here. It's not going to stop.
All right. Well, is there one thing not related to gaming or game mechanics that you think that, say, all new Ingress players should know?
Oh, geez. Let me think about that. Well, I mean, aside from game mechanics and all of the great things about that, and that's what I get really excited about, but aside from that, I mean, like I said, aside from revolutionizing gaming as far as, getting out on your butt and using your mobile, what Ingress has done, what's more successfully than any other type of GPS-based game like this is, it's been a community builder more than anything. And I know you all know that on a huge level. Andrew and I would have never hung out at an ARG convention in downtown Portland. I don't think that ever would have quite gone down. But hey, we connected through this cool game, where we met on the internet. Originally kind of met in Gettysburg on the other coast, and then we hung out on my coast. Like a month later. It was just you don't really get that from any other kind of game. And if I would impart anything to a new player, the game is awesome. I love the game. There are so many just really, really cool things about it. But the other half is the community and the people behind. I'm going to do it behind the scanner.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'd tell a new player. Community is a huge deal.
Well, you literally just answered one of Sean Park's questions that he had for you. That's sort of any advice for new players or things they should know. So, should we continue the trend? You want to answer some more viewer questions?
Sure, though, to kind of answer his question on the other side of the coin, if a new player needs some guidance, YouTube, how to play Ingress, you'll find my videos on there.
Yeah, there's also a website that lays it out pretty well, too.
Yeah, that's coming out. Like I said, that's coming out in a few weeks. But yeah, the YouTube videos are already out there, and those take someone from, like I said, just installing the game to advanced stuff. So that's the other side of the coin, game mechanics.
All right,
anyway,
well,
sorry.
No, it's all good. So let's just start off with the table flipper himself, Nicholas Moore. His question for you is, are you prepared for this? What's with all the cats behind you?
All right. Well, Nicholas knows I'm also a crazy cat guy, though I blame half of that on my significant other. As I showed you guys earlier, there is a bunch of crazy cats behind me. I'll promise you this right now, I didn't buy a single one of these, but let me go grab a few of these guys over here. We can get a up-close look on these. So all of these were purchased by my girlfriend, and believe it or not, more likely believe, but this isn't the only cat shrine in the house. Anyway, you got this guy right here. I apologize for my lighting in here. And you got this crazy zebra cat looking thing. Yes, indeed. That
Did
thing
you
is
have
wild.
that at the Saturday market?
I have no idea where these came from.
Really artistic.
Yeah, I don't want to know, and I hope the supply line of them stops because they're everywhere.
Nice. Well,
Jack Tron wants to know if one of the cats just moved.
I don't even know how to answer that. I hope not. I locked all the real cats out of this room, and if one of those were moving behind me, I have something more dire to worry about than behind the scanner right now.
so one more question about your surroundings, and I promise we'll get into the game questions. So
Sure.
Jack Trong wants to know 2 reams of paper. Why do you need 2 reams of paper behind you?
Well, I mean, there's a printer right there. I mean,
seems like an obvious answer. If you need paper, so
yeah,
people seem
paper
to
runs
really
out of
be interested
paper.
in their surroundings. Yeah.
I got more paper right here. And he's a decoder. He solves puzzles all the time. So, Jack, you take the paper and you put it in the printer, and the computer puts to the printer. It's all crazy.
Extra hangers there too, so
Yeah,
that's
we won't
good.
ask.
No, we don't want to know about
why
the
the hangers empty. Yeah. Why are the hangers empty, man? No. All right. So
Oh no.
the game question we have is, what aspect of the game do you enjoy the most?
Damn, that's a hard one. I mean, as we've talked about, you have the two sides of the coin, the game and the community, and I really do like both equally in a 50-50 fashion. I mean, I don't know that I would have been here this long if I didn't have one without the other, but I guess maybe a 51%. I like the game more, just because I'm a big gamer. I really like the game, so I guess we'll do 49% community for me. But yeah, I really love the game. I love that. I guess kind of tying in with the community aspect of it. I can go out here and I can either play by myself for 5 hours and just really go for it, or I can call up a few of my buddies and be like, hey, let's make some really big fields, or turn the town blue, things like that. But yeah, I guess 51%. I like the scanner part of it more. Just 51.
Just 51. Not 50.5.
Well, getting too technical for me there.
All right, so the last question is, where's the key?
Oh, is this a end game question?
We're
talking about a different key.
No,
well,
I don't know. How many keys unlock things, I guess.
Hey, that's true. Well,
maybe somebody wants to know where you hid your key under your mat for your house or something. I don't know.
Well, on the risk of my local enlightened listening, I'm not going to tell you where I hid my key. But if we're talking about endgame, I don't know where the key is at. In fact, the book I read, the advanced reader's copy, all the puzzles in there are just placeholders. So even if I deciphered everything and took part in that, they will probably all lead me to, I don't know, a dumpster somewhere. But it definitely won't lead me to the key that will get the gold for endgame. And even if I wanted to do that, I'm personally disqualified myself, so I can't do that anyway.
Fair enough. So we'll check dumpsters for the endgame key. All right.
Well, certainly.
That's all we have. I do actually want to make mention that the BTS account, if you go to Behind the Scanner on Google+, we did share the link for your charity event. So
thank you. That's a huge help. And like I said, even if anyone wants to donate, just a low amount, like $5, every little bit helps. I think I set like a $10 or $15 for the not the end game, but the Decode Ingress patch drawing, which, like I said, almost everyone who donates is probably going to get a patch. So incentives, right? And you're helping kids. A bigger incentive.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, Fab, as we wrap up here, one thing that we've been doing here on Behind the Scanner is sort of letting our guests open, having them have about 60 seconds to sort of speak their mind and, talk about any topic they wish. So if you're ready, you can have the floor.
We'll put the clock on you. There you go.
60 seconds? Dang. I have a lot of thoughts, too. Let's see. First, Anomaly series, the new one, Drarsana, is that how you pronounce it? That shouldn't be... that shouldn't be only, as far as I know, only 3 dates, which is the shortest Anomaly I've ever seen. They need to not do that, and they shouldn't have done it this soon. I'm still recouping from Helios. 2 weeks, look out for the Fev Games blog. That will be coming out. I'm going to spam it everywhere, so you'll probably see it. Subscribe on Fev Games on YouTube. Behind the Scanner is awesome. How am I doing on time?
You got about 20 seconds left, I think.
20 seconds, dang it. I got to meet Devra as a real person. That was kind of cool. I met her at an anime convention.
Really?
Yeah, that was very interesting. She's a voice actor for many things. League of Legends, various animes, all sorts of video games. So that was just really weird to get her out of character and hear her talk in little chibi anime voices. It blew my mind. But yeah, I got her signature on my Devra card, and that was probably one of the more cooler experiences I've ever done at an anime convention. And she was equally surprised to see us Ingressers. There was only 2 of us there, and she did not expect it.
We're kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're, as you mentioned, everywhere. Which is one of the other great things about this. I think I could go to almost any city and pull up my scanner and be like, hey, does anyone want to hang out? And I'd probably be hanging out with someone that night.
True.
And you're definitely a lot of fun to hang out with. It's really a pleasure to have you here on the show, and I hope we can, meet up and have drinks again sometime on either coast or the
Definitely.
Midwest. Everyone's welcome to come visit the Midwest.
Likewise, you're always welcome to visit Oregon, as Andrew has done already. He has a one-up on you.
Andrew.
Ooh, I didn't even think about it that way.
Yep. Yep.
Well, thanks again for taking the time to hang out with us tonight on Behind the Scanner. Thank you, Andrew and Daphne, for having me fill in for Jorge tonight. He'll be back next week. So I think that about wraps it up for tonight's Behind the Scanner.
Yeah. I want to thank our guests, and also I think Pedro actually had about 20 seconds left on the clock before he stopped, and I want to give him the time to use that because he's got something that he wants to say as well. So Pedro, the floor is yours.
Oh my, 20 seconds. Right. So Darsena in I think it's spelled like that. Darsena in Barcelona, Bacoa, Burgres, come. I'll be there. We should all be there, and it's gonna be awesome.
What are the dates of the event?
It's December 13.
Motorcycle ride?
Christmas present.
Yeah. So I hope to see you all there, and the rest of the Ingress community. The invitation stands for everybody. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Pedro, for staying up with us this entire time. And
don't worry.
I think it's like, what, 5 o'clock in the evening over your time?
Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Close enough.
Sun hasn't set yet over there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Appreciate you for coming in and talking to us, and thank you all for watching another issue of Behind the Scanner. Join us next week. Happy hacking.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Happy hacking.
Wow. I don't think I was drunk. I've only been drinking water, but
I feel sorry.
I need to get some sleep.
No,
That's okay. I felt the same way though. I was actually drinking.
Yeah, all of you guys were. I'm kind of jealous. Maybe it was through osmosis. That's what it was doing.
I'm surprised nobody wanted to ask Fev, what's your Smash Brothers character?
Oh, what's my favorite character? Oh man, right now it's Mega Man, hands down. Hands down. I've been waiting